I'm sitting on my veranda drinking high mountain tea with Riley Lee. Last night we had an amazing experience where Riley, with three of his other friends, we did a rendition of the Tibetan Book of the Dead, which was probably one of the most powerful experiences that I've ever been involved with. But Riley himself, each person in that group last night were powerful or accomplished people in your own right. So you've been playing the flute for 30 years.
Probably more than that.
More than that. So tell us more about what you do and pronounce the name of the flute, which I'm not very good at.
Shakuhachi.
Shakuhachi flute. So tell us more. Let's do about a 4-minute talk where you can tell us about your life with the flute and what you do.
So you want me to tell you my life with the flute in 4 minutes?
Well, let's make it 5.
I play this flute, mate. It's made of bamboo.
Yes.
It's really beautiful.
And you started way back in the 1970s.
I did. I started in 1971. Probably started playing in 70. Proper lessons in 71.
Because they were telling me last night that you're actually a master.
That's one of the titles that, you know, they give. I've got this. It's called Dai Shihan, which means Grand Master. It really means big teacher.
Big teacher.
Yeah.
So from that, you know, we've heard the stories of you sitting out in the snow, and last night it was amazing to think that you actually were segregated with a group of people for a number of, how long was that? Where you actually did intensive training doing.
Oh, that was only 4 years or so.
Oh, right. Only 4 years.
Well, there's this guy. He was just released from jail in Florida, black guy, and he was convicted for murder, and he was possibly on death row, much of that, but certainly, you know, life imprisonment. And he went back. They realized that he was innocent because of DNA stuff, right? So he was released after 70 years or something in prison. This is in Florida as a black, you know. And he says, yeah, those were the golden years. That was really, it was a wonderful experience. You know, so it's what you make out of it, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And being a master, we talk about devotion, and this is your life. That's what you do. You're dedicated. All your work is with the flute. Mm-hmm. You're not helping me here.
I know I'm not.
You're not helping me here. I've got enough. Tell me more about the flute, please.
So, yeah, I was in Hawaii with my family, high school. This is my, so year 11. One day my brother, who's 5 years older than me, comes home with this recording. And it's by this jazz clarinetist. And it's probably the original meditation recording. It's called Music for Zen Meditation. You can still buy it, Tony Scott. And this picture of a purple Buddha on the record. And he did this improvisational recording with a koto, which is the stringed instrument from Japan, koto player and a shakuhachi player. And the shakuhachi player had, you know, they did this stuff and it was good, but he had a maybe 2.5 minute track on the LP to just solo, and that just blew me away. For some reason, I just was so drawn to that, and I would, of course, the LPs, right? So I'd get I pretty much wore out that part of the record. The other stuff was okay, but I just wanted that tune. And that's my first taste of the shakuhachi. I didn't think I must go to Japan.
Yeah.
Not at all. I just loved it. Just really, I couldn't get enough of it. It was like it was, it wasn't, I couldn't imagine a musician playing on a musical instrument making this sound. That wasn't there. It was the music was something, didn't involve anything except just me and the music. As if the music was the voice of some you know, sentient being. that was speaking directly to me. I was just really involved in that sound. And turns out that later on, now, many, many decades later, the guy that was on the recording became one of these living national treasures in Japan.
Wow.
Yamamoto Hozan. He died recently, smoked. So they all smoked. My teacher smoked too. And I realize now that what he played there was pretty simplistic. It's really, I can do that. Now but he was the spark. That little 2-minute segment was what got me interested in the instrument, to the point where then, when I did finally go to Japan for totally different reasons, I had that in the back of my mind, and one thing led to another, and doors opened for me. And I decided to go down that door instead of that door because of having heard him.
So you didn't go to Japan to play the flute, you went there for something else? Wow.
Yeah, I went there. Well, I went there first just because I had the opportunity to go. And the second time I went because it was the end of this round-the-world trip, and I'd run out of money. Couldn't get back to Hawaii. And that's when I was, on a three-month visa. I was going to just earn enough money to get home. Stayed there 7 years. And
in that time, 4 of those 7 years, you lived on a camp, basically, where you learned?
Well, no, for the first 3 or so, I just lived on my own. And then I was asked to join this group, and then I became a member of the group. And the group is, they call themselves, that group was called Sado no Kuni Onde Koza. And it's now in when was it? In the 80s, the mid-80s, long after I left, they changed the name. And they're still there. They're called Kodo, which is the largest, most famous Japanese drumming group in the world. And they call me, I'm one of the founding members.
Wow. Wow. Again, 70s, that's 44 years later. You're still playing that flute.
Yep.
Do you still have the same feeling of that connection, obviously, that you had, or is it even more?
Ignorance is bliss, and it's in Zen Buddhism. They have this saying about beginner's mind, and a beginner's mind is great because it's very open, and there's no expectations. Now I'm always striving to have that same beginner's mind that I don't have because I'm no longer a beginner.
The beginner.
So, for example, it's so easy for me now to listen to any sort of shakuhachi music, and I can hear the mistakes. Or I know the person. I know the guy that's doing it. So it's much more difficult for me to be...
to just sit and enjoy.
Exactly, yeah. But it's not impossible. And the... I suppose now, the listening is usually... When I have that same experience that I had with that first recording, I have it when I'm listening to myself play while I'm playing. So it becomes more than just it's more participatory.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Well, we're taking this video here this morning, and it's been very cool. And he's a very interesting man. Hard to get to tell me things, but anyway, it's been really good. But hopefully later in the year, Riley will be coming back to do one of his breathing workshops. Come and take part, and let's see if we can improve other parts of our life through breathing.
Sounds good.
Thanks, mate.
Okay.
Thank you.